Hi, I'm Melissa Uchida, founder of the Strength in Stillness Method and the Healthy Human Project. Today we're exploring how your nervous system is the doorway to intuition and why breathwork, movement, and stillness are the most powerful tools to access your inner knowing. Here's a beautiful truth. Your body is always speaking to you. Beneath the stress, the noise, the endless thoughts and distractions, there's a deeper intelligence within you. We call it intuition, a quiet knowing, a gut sense, a whisper from your soul. But intuition doesn't shout. It doesn't compete with chaos, and it can't get through when your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. When you're in fight or flight, your body's primary concern is one thing, and that's survival. Your senses become hypervigilant, scanning for danger. Your system shifts into defense, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and in that state you lose access to the subtle energy of intuition. So what is intuition? Well, intuition is the ability to know, sense, and understand something without conscious reasoning. It's a gut feeling of insight, a quiet voice beneath the mental chatter. It might come in a flash, it might come in a thought, it might come in just a download or a moment. In mediumship, it's tuning into this cosmic consciousness, this universal web of information or spirit or your highest self. In the yoga practice, it's linked to Ajna Chakra, the third eye, which is the seat of clarity, perception, and spiritual vision. And scientifically, intuition is believed to arise from subconscious pattern recognitions, an internal sensory awareness called interoception, emotional signals, and subtle nervous system cues. But all of this depends on one thing: a regulated nervous system. When the nervous system is dysregulated, the mind becomes reactive, noisy, and externally focused. A person in this state is going to override their intuitive cues because survival is the priority, not the soul. So you can't receive guidance if your body is screaming, "We're not safe." Now, in modern life, feeling not safe might feel like agitation, overwhelm, guilt, being ashamed, being disconnected, being indecisive, being scattered, like you just don't trust your neighbors, your friends, your world, your boss, there's a lack of trust for your community and for your fellow human beings, and often a lack of trust with ourselves. This doesn't mean that your intuition is broken. I don't know that intuition. I don't know that voice. Like I haven't had many conversations with it. Or maybe you have, but you've forgotten. It's not broken. It's just being drowned out by the noise, the demands, and the busyness of the world. So what do? Well, first we learn to soothe the nervous system. So that's where learning to regulate comes in. We're going to do that right now, okay? With our breath. We will regulate the nervous system. So just take a moment, notice how you feel. You could even think a thought that kind of irritates you or agitates you. And then we breathe. It's always in through the nose. It can be out through the nose or the mouth. And the exhale will be longer than the inhale. Okay? So take a breath in. Let it be easy, kind of effortless, all the way down into the belly if that's possible. And exhale out through the mouth. Maybe make some sound. Allow the shoulders to soften and let go of any tension in your jaw. Again, breathe in. And out. As you exhale out, see if you can get out all of the air. Breath in. And out, slow and smooth, soft, long, and gentle. Feel the belly soften. And now tell yourself, I am safe. It's safe to listen. Safety and trust are key when it comes to tuning in to our intuition. Our nervous system won't regulate until we feel safe. And because we can think a thought and not feel safe because of the thought that we think, we have to pay attention to the thoughts that we think. If we think thoughts that are chronically taking us to fight or flight, chronically taking us onto defense or offense, conflict, drama, chaos, insecurity, fear, we're not going to be able to regulate the nervous system. We have to be able to pay attention to our thoughts, and we do that with our mindfulness practice. Now, when we calm the body and we quiet the mind, that is when the soul can speak. She's actually speaking all of the time, but usually the body is in so much discomfort, pain, angst, something in fight or flight, and the mind is so busy and it convinces itself that every thought it thinks is true, and we go, all of this is so terrible, and I have been there. I mean, I've spent years in that place, decades even in that place of believing that my thoughts were true. So we have to pay attention, because a thought is just a thought and it has no power unless we give it power. So how does the soul speak? Well, intuition often arrives quietly. It's a hunch, a feeling. You might get a tingling, a sensation. It might come as a thought or as a download that you just perceive. You might have a sudden urge to take a different route, avoiding an accident or a traffic jam. You might call someone that you haven't talked to on the phone in a long time, and you find out they're just a few miles away, like literally driving through your town on the way to somewhere. Another good way that you can play, one of my teachers calls this resonance and dissonance. So it's just an exercise that we practice. You might feel a wave of peace around a decision, like, that's the right decision, I know it. Or you might feel a tightness, a constriction around a decision, and that goes, Your body doesn't lie to you. Your intuition doesn't lie to you. And the body, mind are not separate. They are this cohesive thing, and they're going to communicate in that way. So we just have to learn the language of the body mind. But resonance, dissonance, if you have to make a decision, you can go into, take 3 to 5 grounding breaths, release all the tension, focus on a thought of gratitude, ask for some guidance, and then ask the question. Or put it this way: if I make this decision, do I feel resonance or do I feel dissonance? If I make this decision, do I feel resonance or dissonance? And I love this one because it's one of my favorite techniques now to use for making decisions. Resonance and dissonance. It requires being still long enough, quiet long enough, and receptive long enough to be able to ask the question and to tune in and receive the answer. You could also have a dream that has meaning for you. Write down your dreams if you're not already writing them down. You have a thought that proves to be true. My daughter was doing this yesterday. She's like, oh my God. I tell all my kids, yes, you are intuitive. You are. It's honing and teaching the skills just like anything else. These are all signs. These are all signs that you are communicating with your intuition. And the more you nurture your nervous system and the more you're aware of what your nervous system state is at any time, the more clearly your inner voice will come through. The more you'll be able to build trust with it. So that voice might come through, but building trust is something that takes a long time. So just like building trust, I love Brene Brown's, she wrote about this in one of her books where she said there's a marble jar, and for your friends, every time they do something that's a good friend kind of a thing that builds trust, you put a marble in there. And then every time they do something that takes it out, that takes away trust, you take a marble out. So you have to look at your friendships and go, are they a full marble friendship or are they an empty marble friendship? As you're building trust with your intuition, keep tap when the trust is there and when it follows through. And then you want to put as many marbles in there as you can because you're building this relationship with your intuition. So if we have this relationship but we never trusted it, what good would that be, right? So you start trusting on the small things. Practice builds the receptivity. Sri K. Padabi Joyce is one of my yoga teachers, was one of my yoga teachers from his lineage. And he said, 99% practice, 1% theory. 99%. We just have to do it. You have to do it. You have to experience it in order to know it. So a lot of people might say, oh, there's no such thing as intuition or there's no such thing as a sixth sense. Well, if you don't know it and you haven't practiced it, you're right. There won't be such a thing for you because you don't know it and you haven't practiced it. So just like the yoga system, you have to do it. You have to practice over and over and over, and practice makes permanent. We're not going for practice is perfect. Practice makes permanent. Now, most people have left have let the analytical mind, the left brain, take over. And we're taught at some point as children, up until we're 7 years old, our brain waves are in theta. They're highly programmable. That's why a lot of kids, we don't have memories from before the age of 7, because everything is just that, all of that got moved to the subconscious. That's all of our programming for the rest of our lives. That's like that's the basic level programming, right? And so highly suggestible in theta. But then after that, we start moving into alpha beta waves, and we move into more of conscious learning. We're taught as children at that point, like, oh, that's not true, that's just your imagination. And we were almost taught that imagination was like a bad thing, or daydreaming was a bad thing. You had to focus on what was here. We want to reignite that fun, love feeling of tuning into our intuition for ourselves and for our children. Because the cool thing is, when we start to trust our intuition, we're building trust with ourselves. And we know that safety and trust are absolutely essential for us to be able to thrive as human beings. If we don't feel safe and have trust for something, whether that is a higher power, whether that is yourself, whether that is your partner, your family, your community, we have to feel safe and trust in order to thrive and grow. So we want to grow that with our intuition. Your intuition is like your internal compass. You have it with you all of the time. It's not going to steer you wrong. It will always steer you in the direction of your highest good, but you have to practice it. You have to practice quieting, stilling the body, mind, and then being able to interpret the messages that you're receiving. And this takes a lot of faith. So intuition is something that everyone has. Not everyone is going to want to sit and develop it in the way that they want to. Hi, Lucy. It is a skill, and it does take a lot of time to practice, but have fun with it. You don't force intuition. You actually just create space for it. And that space is built through movement, which clears the stuck energy. Meditation allows the thought forms to settle, quieting the mental noise. Mindfulness allows us to be able to have non-attachment to those thoughts that keep hooking us. You get a thought and it hooks you and you go, that thought is truth. Well, that thought is not truth. But often we get hooked by it anyway. And we're like scrambling to break free of this thought that really is not producing good feelings in us. And then gratitude raises our vibration. We need a high frequency to be able to tap in, and stillness to receive the wisdom that we are receiving from our intuition, from your higher power, from the God source, from the universe, whatever you like to call this cosmic consciousness. So this is how we remember what we have always known, right? We have always known this. You are intuitive. You have always been. You just need your nervous system to feel safe enough to hear the truth that's already within you. To help get you started, I created a free gift for you. It's the Nervous System Reset Starter Kit, and you'll find it in the link below, there in the description below. And if you'd like to practice this work in an online community, I would love if you join our Strength and Stillness community. We've got online classes every week, chair and mat, where we do mindful movement, meditation, breath work, and then a bit of education about what it means to be human, and how to live a good long life. That's really what it's all about. So you will do practices that regulate your nervous system and help you to reconnect with your higher self and with your own internal wisdom. So if you like this video, if it's supported you in your journey, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please share it with a friend. And I would love to know what helps you to feel the most connected to your intuition. I'd love to keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next video.